My name is Edichuk. I'm originally from the Sudan.
My name is Eric Gerard Parsons. I was born in Dayton, Ohio.
And my name is Renee Wilson, and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
My name is Dante Clark. Childhood in Richmond, it was beautiful.
And then my family moved to Oregon, Wisconsin.
I'm Dinka.
And then we moved to Minneapolis.
I stayed in Parchester Village. I stayed in Central Richmond.
My father was a diplomat, so every 4 years we'd move around.
And I basically grew up in Milwaukee.
Germany, Holland, England, France for a little bit.
I went to Howard University, so I lived in DC.
And I grew up predominantly in North Richmond.
Then I went to New York City to go to graduate school.
I was in New Orleans my whole life, so from the 70s up until when I graduated from college, and then I left.
And then I moved to Seattle, and then I moved to Miami Beach. Now, hopefully, this is my final resting place, Oakland.
Maybe the soul of a place. I could start talking about that. I'm from a place called Anyidi. Place over there is very like, you know, your ancestors stay there for years.
New Orleans is such a hotbed of, you know, spirit and music and culture and history. And I grew up in that. And really, when I grew up there, I didn't necessarily know that consciously. That was just what my everyday was.
There's tradition, there's song, there's chanting, and there's an awareness of how me and you are linked.
Just remember going outside, hide and seek, playing pinky, playing dodgeball. I remember going to North Richmond Shilsbury Park Daycare Center. You know, it was 1,000 kids out there playing basketball, football, monkey bars, swings.
Yeah, you're making me think of home, so.
What those other cities don't have, they don't have black people.
The family tree. We know who your great-great-great-great-granddaddy is and how you're related here.
It's a very rooted culture, and I think you get the sense of that.
That is what makes Oakland attractive to me.
Yeah, childhood was back then was just smiles, man. Just running around, having fun. Life was forever back then.
And when I'm around my family, it's a whole another thing.
And kids know that. It's that kind of deep knowledge of how we're all interconnected out there that I feel that can be missing out here.
Trauma that us as black people done went through. Being here in this land, since we talking about land, since we've been here, it's been a lot that we experienced.
Working with marginalized and disenfranchised communities, you see other aspects of life that I would not have been exposed to.
You probably don't know what I'm going through, but the fact that I'm wearing a hoodie on, a bandana, and I got a gun in your face, it's kind of telling you where I'm at in my spirit, where I'm at, where I'm thinking.
You come back to your office and you're kind of involved with power structure, so to speak. But you get a sense of, you know, how change can occur and what people really need and how so many of our systems and institutions fail us.
As long as we stick together in it, it won't be that difficult. You know what I mean? It's power and unity. Let's share. You got bread, I got meat. Let's make a sandwich.
There has to be political will. There has to be someone who actually is interested in those communities and who cares about those communities.
Like, a lot of people like to link up with like-minded people. That shit ain't gonna work, man. If you thinking positive and you only link up with like-minded people, who gonna spread that mindset to the people who ain't thinking like that?
We want to make sure that maybe there's a community center or a library, some sort of cultural institution there that creates a vibrancy.
Me being a hooper, I felt like basketball brought community to me too.
We had European influences, we had Spanish influences, we had the mixing, the Creole influences, we had the Caribbean influences, the African influences, and so everybody brought all of that together.
I remember on a basketball court in the Sudan, right? I remember I went to go visit out there, and you know, so you got guys out there from my tribe playing, right? And man, it was just a trip. It was a trip. It was just like black people. I felt like I was in Mosswood in a sense. I did.
Soul is a feeling, but you're able to see it through expression. Me beating on the drum, like you can't really, you see what I'm doing and you feel the energy that's coming from how I beat the drum. If I go doo-doo, doo-doo, you just like, oh, that's smooth. You feel it. Or if I'm boom, 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 it's like, damn, bro, that's passion.
I don't speak my language right, but I remember there was one lady in the stand and she says, "You bitch." That means, throw it in, yeah, it means throw it inside in our language, right? And translated, dunk the ball. Dunk the ball. And I remember just feeling like it was so hot, just to be able to experience that, right? Just to kind of like, man, I knew what she said, and just kind of like I've experienced it over, I experienced that vibe, right? Over in Africa, and I've experienced that vibe over in Mosswood too. And for me, it was just identical, it was the same thing.
Because of the history of New Orleans, there were a lot of things happening there, like pre-American slavery, and people were mixing in Congo Square, and slaves could actually practice their own religion, and they could, you know, marry, and they could do all these things that people couldn't do other places. And so I think that all of the traditions that people brought with them weren't like squashed or tried to be made into something that it wasn't, you know. And even within whatever struggles people were dealing with, they were allowed to still have whatever it was that was soulful to them.
I know for a fact, man, we're linked. I know for a fact that we're more alike than we know.
So I think that's where, you know, our music comes from and our food comes from, and the way we think and the way we act. And I think that definitely being by the water and in the swamp and the heat and the way we cook, and that people are just down to earth, and we really are about like, look, like just let's be for real about the for real, for real.
I'm a more diverse thinker. That's what you see. I could feel a little sad that I'm not as connected to my people, that I don't speak the language like I should at all. I feel like there's something missing in me. But at the same time, I do feel enriched by other cultures.
I was not in New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina. I got there about 3 months afterwards when they were letting people come back in.
So much of change in this country has occurred, as they say, at a grassroots level, and started somewhere in a neighborhood, on the street, and I think that's what's going to have to continue.
If you come to me, how are you? And your handshake, your eyes, your tone of voice, you scared. You just coming because you feel like you have to. That's soul. I can feel that shit. So when you go, understand. All I need is a chance. You want to get out the hood, there go your resources. Connect. Soul.
Someone has to be a visionary.
Soul is something that can expand, it's something that can grow, something that can be nurtured, something that brings people together, where many entities can become one.
One of my favorite things is that I feel like it has this mystical, like, essence to it.
They say a change has come, and I tell them, it be them sometimes. It be them sometimes I feel most like Emmett Till. Like, boy, keep your eyes off them whites, no whistling, keep tight, think twice and you might not get killed. You see, they fear, no, they envious of the physics of this big black buck, and they strongly believe that blonde hair and blue eyes is what all black guys want, like hunt and pray. While they hunt, we pray, and we the prey since the birth of this nation. It be like sometimes I can't tell if I'm the target or assailant in this black male assassination, huh? Or maybe I'm both, shit. Or maybe I'm just crazy the most, huh? I'm the smoke that twirls from the barrel of a 4.5 to add to Richmond's homicides, right? No. I'm the spear, no, the arrow that shoots through history to advance the centuries of my people's miseries, whoa. I'm the dream of Dr. King, no. I'm the flame under the pot, the powder cooking the rock that's chopped and served on the block to the fiends. I'm too dope, whoa. Hold up. Well, you tell me. You tell me who I'm supposed to be. You tell me how I'm supposed to behave, because see, it's hard for me to manage me. I'm split. I feel like half kingdom, half slave, have some pride, no, have shame, have freedom, have chains. I'm part alive and half grave, so I battle with life and death every day in my prison. My prison is good.